Thank you. My name is Doug Solinger. This is my second startup. We are data people, and what we've built is what we call Master Automation Solution. This is a tool that's built by data people for data people. So what we're doing is we're taking all the operational processes around managing data and automating that. Next slide. Couple of testimonials and things that we've done. First couple of customers, literally, they had 11 people in their data department, and they were able to actually take the 3 most talented resources and move them out of day in and day out operational and administrative resources and move them into the development side. They were also able to reduce some contractor costs, and their actual net ROI by bringing in Moz within 1 year was over $378,000. We've already been to the DoD. They have a huge problem with all the databases that they have because we focus with our focus is in Oracle, Microsoft, and some of the open source databases. We're also uniquely qualified to do software asset management. The DoD today has a $500 million contract with Oracle that they have every year, or every 3 years that they renew. They have no idea how much they use. It's called a ULA. When we look at what we've built, we took it to the analyst community. Gardner Group was the first one we took it to. They said, nobody has built anything like this to date. And then we have a very tight relationship with Oracle as a key partner to help us get into the marketplace. So we've vetted this out in several different ways. And this goes across any industry because data goes anywhere in any kind of application. Next slide. So what we're really talking about is data resides in databases. And if you look at what it takes every time data is created and it lands into a database like Oracle, there's 37 different steps and clicks you have to go through, and it speaks a particular language. As a database administrator, you need to know that. Then you now have an Oracle database. In most environments, and if they have 40 Oracle databases, they probably have 400 Microsoft databases. Now you're speaking a second language. Then you have shadow IT pops in with all the open source databases that are out there. And as a data administrator within an organization, you have lots of different decisions you have to make and a lot of different content you got to keep on top of. And then that talent is very, very hard to get anymore. Next slide. What we've done is brought all those processes across all those different databases to one single UI. Literally, the database administrator or the database manager can literally go into one screen, look and see what's going on with their databases, and they can say, all right, the one that needs the most attention is Microsoft. I can literally, instead of going through 27 different clicks, I can pick the job that needs to be done, pick the database, hit submit, done. That means that low-level person can actually handle that work for the database person, allowing their higher level, higher talented people to move into more DevOps type work. Next slide. This is where we've got a tight relationship with Oracle. A lot of companies have a challenge when they're buying software assets like databases from Oracle, and they're probably the most challenged with this. They'll buy 100 databases, and somebody else will come in and they'll have literally used 150 of them. Well, it's very hard to detect that. We have one of 10 companies in the world that's gone through the verification process where we can detect exactly how much you're using at any one point in time. Also, this gives you a stepping stone for where you are if you want to start to do a digital transformation. So if you want to move to the cloud, we actually automate those processes in the cloud and give you this visualization of those assets. We do the same thing for Microsoft, and it's really more applied towards performance. Next slide. In a nutshell, what Moz does, it automates the process of managing your data. It consolidates it all into one place, and it gives you visualization. On top of what we've been able to do is we've also been able to add infrastructure security by tapping into AWS and Azure security portals, and that's all automated within the platform itself. Now, what I'm going to do is turn it over to Bill, and he's going to talk about where we're going with machine learning. Next slide.
Okay, hello everybody. We're going to talk a little bit about what we're working on right now with Moz. And like some of the others, things have been described today, we're using data that is already present in Moz. The slide shows, in steps 1, 2 here, how Moz actually collects quite a bit of data from database servers related to how the server and the database itself are performing. This is all viewable within our user interface. We've tested Moz monitoring and controlling 100 databases, no problem, running, a variety of different database server softwares. And, we have enough data here that, we could easily predict and diagnose nearly any problem that would occur with these systems. But the volume and velocity of this data just makes that, just humanly impossible to actually do that. And, as, we're all aware, machine learning can really allow us to, use this data to, go from, data to tensors and, start to producing trained models, which will allow us to predict, outages, issues with applications, issues with the server performance overall, and then just easily make that within reach of database administrators or really anybody who's supporting these systems. Next slide, please. So how we go from the data to trained models, we as the models are trained, we rely on subject matter experts to help us label particular states of the models with outcomes, as far as the server performance or server state. So as all these metrics and statuses are consumed into the models and assigned weights, we begin to slowly train the models. And whenever we do detect an anomaly or some problem, we try and use that in the future to predict problems with servers. It's sort of an iterative process, but the primary upside is that for all of our customers, then they benefit from already trained models, and can immediately use this to predict problems with their servers. Simply, and this is just one of the benefits to using our product.
Next slide.
Morning.
Okay. So, like I said, this is my second startup. The last one we did over $176 million. We've been, in the government space, and it was all around doing the same thing, managing data. Bill has been published books in this space, and he's actually been a DBA, and he actually will tell you he built this to actually help out eliminating work that he had in his previous organizations. And now we've just taken that and automated it into a cloud offering. Next slide. It's simple. We are raising capital. We can carry it on our own, but our plan is to raise money for more sales and marketing. We've already got $7 million in the development of the product. It is enterprise ready. We are selling it today. Any questions?
Go ahead.
Thank you for the presentation. So a common question here, right? I hear about a lot of the benefits of your technology, but can you actually quantify it? Would it be possible to show what's the return on innovation and starting by a project that we could do with your technology that would pay back in less than 12 months?
Most of our clients are getting payback within 6 months on it. And usually you're going to get benefits with efficiencies across the organization. You're going to control security into the different databases because we actually can control the users per database. Also, you can eliminate, basically manpower it takes to manage those databases. So for example, one client literally had a collection of contractors and each one of them were doing something different. With Moz, they were able to consistently manage all their databases and be able to manage any kind of issues and downtime. So that was one of the efficiencies they got out of it. Instead of paying $150,000 for a DBA, they were literally able to use a $60,000 resource to do the exact same type of work because it was now automated in the process and it's 3 steps.
Right. Well, thank you, Doug. I think it will be very powerful to see that and to get those testimonials and to account for what are the monetizable values and what are some other soft values that are connected to your technology. I think one slide on that can help in understanding better how do you bring value to organizations.
Thank you.
Doug, I have a quick question. Excellent presentation. Maybe 2 questions. One is you spoke about Moz being able to monitor hundreds of databases. Could you speak a little bit to the scalability, please? And the second question was just to the point of how simplified the UI is. I can see absolutely the benefits of that. I was wondering if you'd ever imagine a case where certain teams in certain very specific scenarios might find that too simplified because they want to do some advanced engineering on it or something.
So scalability is, because it runs in AWS in the way we've developed it with Python and Postgres, the scalability, we've tested it up to 100, and that's kind of the most logical breaking, size, but we wouldn't be worried about running this up to over 1,000. I mean, that's not even, but then it gets to be, the manageability of it for anybody, right? So you usually want to break that into chunks of 100, and that's as far as we've gone. We have been challenged to do it up to 1,000, but then even when we got into that particular project, it did get broken into, individual departments and chunks at that point in time. If there is a situation where, your second question, usually that would then be moved up to in a development side. So we're taking care of the maintenance and routine stuff. So if it ever gets beyond that, then there is a capability to actually download if there's a problem. We can actually display what that problem is. And then, so say the low-level operator can then literally send that over to the development department. They can go in and fix that. So it's the simplicity of it is actually the elegance of the tool. And we've never had anybody want to go the other way, so.
Makes sense, thank you.